Councillor, are the police coming? Yes. They must come and see us.
Register, especially South Africans, and of course, does it cost money to register? Will South Africans be able to afford it? Is it one license, one business, or does it mean you can have one license and then you can have multiple Sphaza shops under that license once you have registered? What are the minimum requirements? What does the form look like? But before we get there, I want you to take a listen to what South Africans had to say and have a look and see what's been going on around the country, where people have gone out to inspect, whether it's branches. I mean, this thing is just growing legs of its own. We've seen Operation Tudula. They have been really just to put pressure on foreign nationals who are going to register. They don't want them to register. They want them gone. There are South Africans who are not happy that the fact that South Africa, the president has given 21 days to register, and rather than saying
so in terms again on criteria, who can own and run a Sphaza shop?
Whoever that is here legally and whoever that has the capacity to
and this includes foreign nationals, right?
If they're here legally.
Yeah. Okay. The criteria that would be used for the Sphaza shops to re-register, what are we looking at here?
It's very simple. Yeah. You have to outline what you are selling and who is the institution that is providing that stock that you are buying. And at the same time,
of course, it's not easy to compete against these guys because, I mean, they... Hey, what's going on, peeps? Welcome to it, man. It's another episode of the Free Ride Podcast. I'm back at it again. Your boy is back. And of course, I'm here to talk about another issue that has been ongoing in the media. And we saw last week the president addressing the nation. We've seen the premier of Gauteng addressing the people of Gauteng. We've seen the MEC of Economic Development who held a press briefing not so long ago to address this matter of the informal sector business called the Sphaza shops. And of course, there's been ongoing concerns around the communities, around these people, the foreign nationals, some of them being illegal from Bangladesh, some of them being from India, some of them being from Somalia, that have occupied this business called the Sphaza shops. And of course, we've heard the premier speaking tough, as well as the MEC spoke tough at it. We've seen the mayor of Johannesburg and other mayors actually taking this thing on. We've seen also in KZN where the premier of KZN also urged that there must be searches, there must be inspections, there must be people going all over to see whether these Sphaza shops are, one, they are compliant, two, they are selling products that are safe for people's consumption. And of course, we've also seen the ANC taking a stand at this whole issue around the Sphaza shops. And of course, it is literally just gaining so much momentum. So since the last time, the first time I spoke about it, the second time I spoke about it, this is amazing how the country has just moved on to this. So let me tell you what's been happening just from the president's side. So Sphaza shops in South Africa have been given 21 days to register with their municipalities or face closure. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced this at his address. Some slam as long overdue on government's measures to tackle the recent wave of food poisoning incidents that have claimed the lives of the country's young children. All Sphaza shops and food handling facilities must register within their municipalities that they operate in within 21 days. That's what the president said. Any shop that is not registered within 21 days and does not meet all the health standards requirements will be closed, said the president. He said Since September, there had been 890 reported food-borne incidents, which have claimed the lives of at least 22 children, with the youngest being a 6-year-old. Sphaza shops which have been implicated in the deaths of children will be closed with immediate effect, he said. President Ramaphosa said SAPs, detectives, health officials, environment inspectors, as well as officials representing the Department of Agriculture and National Consumer Commission were summoned shortly after the concerning wave of reported food contamination deaths for an urgent address. The said departments returned to the cabinet with a report from the National Institute of Communicable Diseases, which reveals that 6 children in Naledi, Soweto, are directly attributed to a highly hazardous pesticide called Tebufos, which has the potential to be lethal even at low levels of exposure. The president said 3 Sphaza shops in Naledi tested positive for Tebufos, which the outlets used to relinquish the rats. According to him, the inspectors, which were dispatched to different Sphaza shops in the area, confiscated under closed number of pesticides. As part of investigations in Naledi deaths, inspectors confiscated a number of illegal pesticides from the Sphaza shops. President Ramaphosa also recalled that in 2023, 6 children from Ekurhuleni and Soweto succumbed to the foodborne ailments after being exposed to aldicarb, notoriously known as the halipirimi, which is commonly sold by hawkers and vendors to control rat infestation. Aldicarb pesticides have been banned to use in South Africa since 2016, said the president. Additional interventions mentioned in the president's address include law enforcement agencies are required to charge offenders who breach outlet regulation laws and involve close cooperation with registered manufacturers and suppliers. Regular inspections of food handling facilities, manufacturers, distributors, wholesalers, and retailers will be conducted by a multidisciplinary inspections team starting with Gauteng. KZN will follow. All registered manufacturers of Tebufos will be inspected to ensure that all products are not diverted into the non-agricultural market. The supply and chain process for distribution of sale of Tebufos will be investigated to ensure that controls are being adhered to and that there are accountability for who they sell it to. All right. So the president also added that government aims to strengthen regulations and protocols on the traceability, repackaging, redistribution, and sale of pesticides, insecticides, and foodstuff. All right. So by working together, by enforcing the law, by being alert, responsive, we will be able to bring an end to these tragedies, said the president. So, I don't know. What do you think of it? Is it a little too late, or is it time for us to act right now? I do commend, though, that the leadership has really taken a stance, and we've seen in Gauteng where the mayors of all the municipalities around Gauteng were urged to have bylaws, and of course this was led by Panyaza Lesufi. We've seen the mayor of Johannesburg also declaring a war against these informal traders. But the big question is, where do people register? Do people even know where they must register, especially South Africans? And of course, does it cost money to register? Will South Africans be able to afford it? Is it one license, one business, or does it mean you can have one license and then you can have multiple Sphaza shops under that license once you have registered? What are the minimum requirements? What does the form look like? But before we get there, I want you to take a listen to what South Africans had to say and have a look and see what's been going on around the country, where people have gone out to inspect, whether it's branches. I mean, this thing is just growing legs of its own. We've seen Operation Tudula. They have been really just to put pressure on foreign nationals who are going to register. They don't want them to register. They want them gone. There are South Africans who are not happy that the fact that South Africa, the president has given 21 days to register, and rather than saying mabaphume mabahambe mabaphutheke, so people are just angry that we've given them another lifeline and they probably have the resources to be able to register. But let me not spoil it for you. Take a listen to what the people here had to say, man.
Kunomama ofake ama-container I2 and umphakathi uthi awafuni esifuna wonke amakula athuthe Davidton. We are not going to allow lama container ukuthi avule because of izinto ezenzakalayo. Abantwana bethu bayafa, bareksesa ditho sebodileng. We don't want anything. So we are saying see community se Davidton extension 3 phansi ngamakula asiwafuni, more container tsele aditloga. The message is thina nangabe bona abavali sizozenzela si community. We are starting now. Lama container mawuqeda ukuhamba khona iPakistan eli1 la lisemchachos lizolandela nalo liyahamba. As I'm saying ukuthi we are going to approach her Shoprite, Pick n Pay, babeli di mini markets around because babulele ama businesses wabantu bethu. We know ukuthi they are here to kill us. If you face a problem yokuthi ngwana urekile ntho yakho maPakistan ngumufile chelete wena, don't call us. Asikhulumeni nabantwana bethu nezikulu zethu, instill this ukuthi akuthengwe maPakistanini, they're here to kill us. So anyone oreka nkoteng asingeni, bantwana mabafa asingeni, because we are preaching this gospel abantu abezo. Everything abayiregister ngifake. Yabona to right yabona. Rabona kuri WhatsApp bana di factory bayetsa ba manufacturer anything and everything that you can think of. So ngona umuntu athenga ukudla kune poison kunokuthi ayi Pick n Pay awokhe. Manje we are going to order online bakulethele i-grocery. We can even create ama-jobs. Abantwana kube nama-bicycle, kube na-iguta zethu. Barekele bathu burotho khoseng, barekele i-grocery. All that. We do have plans. We refail like government yaro.
Proof if you want. The store is closed. Your grocery outside. Outside. Where? There. It's on the street. Can we get out? Taking you out. Taking you out.
Where's the landlord?
Taking you out.
Oh, who landlord Dala?
Can people on top of them and throw them on the streets as well?
And I did trust and some go and I did very serious.
Yeah, what should I go on? I don't care. They think I'm going to be threatened by Somalians in my own country. We are near fan. We are Nyam fan. We are Are the police coming? Councillor? Are the police coming? Yes. They must come and see us. All of them out. Let's get out. All of them out.
Yeah, all of them out. Please, come on.
There
is a no peace. There is a no peace. Buffet. Yeah, demand. This is somebody.
No, it's just. We need to regulate this thing like
here's another one.
Tightly.
Here's another one.
These things,
Here's another one that was eaten through with rats as well. Now, and you can see this is.
Now the question is, what do they do with this food, with this bread?
What they do is these that are eaten, they remove it. They take
No, we take them out. No problem until we can. Oh, here we go. No, here we go.
This one is a problem. Same goes with this one.
You need to take them off. Now
We've got to then cover that gap. It is important. You can't just say these people must go and then you don't respond to the landlord's question. That's when government must come in and say, how do we then bridge the gap and subsidize the landlords or the residents themselves if they want to run this Sphaza shop? Because that's the gap you want to bridge. I mean, if you close this Sphaza shop now, I'll be forced to go and buy a Pick n Pay. It's money to go to Pick and Pay. So if I was buying loaf of bread at 18 rand here, I still need to pay 15 rand to go to the mall. So meaning I'm going to be paying double. Who is benefiting and who is losing at the end of the day? It's us. Government must protect that space so that the convenience and the pricing purposes people are still safe and they can still afford life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Greetings Mpagati. Speaking here is Councillor David Ntakomudupi. I'm Councillor Ward 67 in Mayuvele, Droponya Johannesburg. Mpagati, the inspectors, the environment and health inspectors, check the Sphaza shops or now compliant. If man go the Sphaza shop at the comply. I never comply in terms of the products. If you man ho ka sebaka se long ho ba rekisetsa thepa ya bona ho sona ha se a hlweka. Therefore they are not complied because ke mo long ho tlo hlaha ntse tse leng ho di kudisa ba. Tse ding tsa di Sphaza shop re fumane hore ba sebedisa di poison tsa ho bolaya di tweba and poison tsena na ke tsona tse leng hore di tlo qetella di kudisa batho ba rona. Re fumane di toa tse shweleng di le hodima di product tsa bona ha re ntse re tsamaya re kena di shopo ha re ntse re tsamaya tse ding tsa di shopo di ya kwa. And that is where my worry is. Hobane ha ba tseba ho bona ba comply ba tseba hore ntwe ngwe le ngwe e right ho bona ba ne ba sa tlameha hore ba kwala pele re fihle benyaneng ba notlela ba baleng. That thing for me is a cause of concern, and as the Ward Councillor of Ward 67 I'm going to have a program to target specifically these Sphaza shops which it closed when the health inspectors were around, because we are not going to allow our people to buy in these Sphaza shops whereby they are going to be sick. We need to protect our people. Thank you very much. Again, Councillor David Ntakomudupi, the Ward Councillor of Ward 67 in the Greater Johannesburg Region, Joburg Municipality. Thank you very much.
The National Culture Minister Honorable V.F. Hlabisa has recently gazetted the bylaws to regulate the operations of the Sphaza shops in our country. And the municipalities are expected to adopt those bylaws. That is why, therefore, we have called the municipalities tomorrow. We'll also further engage with the municipalities to cooperate with KwaZulu-Natal government in an effort to get back Sphaza shops owned by undocumented foreign nationals to the people of KwaZulu-Natal, and even engage on the way of supporting local Sphaza shops owned by our people. It is our commitment as the provincial government that we want the Sphaza shops to be owned back by the people of KwaZulu-Natal, not by the undocumented foreign nationals.
All right, so you heard for yourself all the videos that you've seen with all the raiding of these shops, and of course what councillors had to say, how some of these officials have gone in to address this matter and of course act, because this is bordering on almost a disaster waiting to happen. Of course something had to be done, but here it is, man. The Sphaza or house shop written consent. It's a form that you will find on the City of Johannesburg. That's if you are a Sphaza shop owner and you live in Johannesburg. So basically, and you will get to see this. It says here that Sphaza shop or written consent, an owner of the land that is required to submit a written consent application in terms of clause 19 of the City of Johannesburg Land Use Scheme 2018 for the purposes of establishing a Sphaza house shop may submit such an application in this format. The application for the Sphaza shop written consent as envisioned in subsection 1 above shall include the following: prescribed application fee. Does not include the fee. The covering letter addressed to the Executive Director, Development Planning, PO Box 30733, Braamfontein, 2017. Application Form A, original power of attorney, if applicable. Form B, company resolution, copy of the registered title deed for each ERF that is included in the application, a copy of the company closed corporation should the or trust property or registered in favor of one of the above. If the land is subject to a mortgage bond, full details of the bondholder as well as the bondholder's consent relevant for the application, in developments governed by sectional titles or homeowners associations, approval of the relevant body corporate homeowners association, comprehensive motivating memorandum in support of the application, locality plan of the area, zoning and density zoning plan, land use plan, information regarding existing zoning, information on existing development and the use of the land, information on the proposed use of the land, proposed site plan. 21 days to complete this form, dog. Luckily, it's 15 pages long. Proposed site plan, undertaking to advertise form E2, which is E2, a letter template, E2E, letter affidavit template. These are all the requirements that needs to be filled in. So applicable scheme, application type, application purposes, the site description. So you'll have a look and see as I showcase what this this form looks like. Authorized agent if applicable, special power of attorney, that's form B, power of attorney, and pretty much company resolution, undertaking to advertise Sphaza or house shop. I hereby state and intend to advertise the application form on. So that's pretty much the form that's already been on the site. So I've downloaded it, and of course, if you are a Sphaza shop owner or you wish to really get into the Sphaza shop industry or business, this is one way of applying. Make sure that you are compliant and get into the game, get into the business, and get involved into this whole scheme. So that's pretty much it, peeps, and we hope that we'll get to see a resolution being taken, and of course those who are not compliant and those who are not. But I note in this thing that there is no part about whether you are South African, produce your South African identity. Oh, I sent it to the wrong form. So we got to make sure that, at least we understand that the people who are South Africans, they can produce their identity and, and they can and produce that they actually have their registered businesses, and so that they can also pay tax on the stuff that they are using, so that they can pay rates and taxes. And therefore, even the landlord who is now renting out a space where the house is it's just a normal house, it's got no business rights, and now they have a property that is now being utilized as a business on a premises that is not zoned for business rights. How will it affect the zoning? Will the zoning need to be redone? And whether the ratings will be different for those people who have Sphaza shops. So will it be a something that the Sphaza shop or the owner of the property, will they be paying the rates themselves, or will it be something that the Sphaza shop owners are going to pay? So before I say goodbye, I want you to take a look at what else has happened in light of, especially now with the guys from Operation Dudula who are discouraging people who are not South Africans from registering. And after that, I'll say my goodbyes.
Cheated, and we are very disappointed by the leaders who were supposed to lead this country properly. We are cross because during the week, the president addressed the nation. Instead of resolving the problems that are affecting South Africans concerning these shops that are run by foreigners from different countries, instead of the president taking a decisive action and implementing it, he took a wrong decision to say foreigners must be allowed to register businesses. These jobs, these shops must be reserved to be run and operated by South Africa, as is the local economy, it's our livelihood. Then we are puzzled to say, in the past few weeks, NICOC, Joint Intelligence and All Operation, they even included the health department where they were trying to trace the source of this poisoning. And it's highly puzzling to say the president, after such an advice, after he saw what has been happening all over the country, decided to issue a statement and allow foreigners to operate businesses. As Operation Dudula, as the community, we are here to oppose that. No foreigner will come to UCB today and to register a business. These businesses must be reserved for South Africans. That 500 million that was reserved by the president must finance the South Africans who are here, who can run businesses. The presidency and other stakeholders of the government must come to us as community members, as community leaders. We will show them South Africans who are operating tuck shops in all different townships. We are saying to the president, we are saying to the ANC-led government, to the GNU, reverse the decision that we have taken. South Africans, we want to own our own economy. We can operate shops. We can go as a South African member and operate a shop in Zimbabwe. I can go to Ethiopia and Bangladesh and operate a shop. South African government must put South Africans first. We will march also to the union building and deliver our grievances to say the decision that was taken by the president, it is wrong.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
That's it, Imani. But now let's bring in Ugogo. She's been here complaining that government is not considering their children and their lives. Ugogo, you are here this morning. You decided to close down the gate, and the community members are here complaining that all the foreign nationals must not be allowed to register their businesses.
Yes, it's true. We don't want them. We are not going to allow them to open the shops here or sell everything. And we don't want them to be registered. We want them to go away because we, the South African, we can't do anything because of this. We can't even sell. Just now, our children are dead. We don't know what's going on since they come here. So we are not going to allow them.
We have seen them coming in a couple of minutes ago. They were inside and you chased them out. And similarly, some of them, they don't want to go.
We are trying to chase them. We took them out. But some of them, they don't want to go. They are busy running here. Some of them, they are this side, that they don't want to go. And the police here are chasing us. We are South African. We have to go out. But those people, they must go in. We are not going to allow it. We can rather die. If they arrest us, they can arrest us now.
Thank you so much, Gogo.
Now, your question is, how do we prevent this? Fortunately, Aldrin, you remember that we reported that when I was in Home Affairs, we called a 2-day workshop of metros, district councils, traditional leaders, the House of Traditional Leaders, and other government departments like housing, small business, DTIC, and local government. We said for 2 days in Beachwood. One of the things we said was that every Sphaza shop needs to be registered. And when you register, you must produce documents that show your legality in the country, or even if you are a South African, show identity documents. And then from there, the Department of Health will be able to show them what are the do's and don'ts in terms of health. Now, we needed a bylaw that will be used by all municipalities, and we asked POCTA to develop them. They've been doing that, and I got a report from Minister Thabisa yesterday that they finally finished the work, and there's been gazetting. Because what was missing was gazetting, meaning if it has been gazetted, it means Sphaza shops can now be legally registered or deregistered. And I think that work should start somewhere next week because we can't wait anymore.
Yeah. So in terms, again, on criteria, who can own and run a Sphaza shop?
Whoever that is here legally and whoever that has the capacity.
And this includes foreign nationals, right?
If they're here legally.
Yeah. Okay. The criteria that would be used for the Sphaza shops to re-register, what are we looking at here?
It's very simple. Yeah. You have to outline what you are selling, and who is the institution that is providing that stock that you are buying. And at the same time, you have to meet the regulatory or compulsory things where you are selling, it's clean. You've got the necessary approvals in terms of the town planning, and you also have the necessary capacity to run that business.
Yeah. So does this include issues around permit as well? Who gets a permit? Who qualifies for a permit?
Yes, it includes that, but remember that is done by a different arm of government. The Home Affairs is the one that must deal with that aspect, that you are in the country correctly, and indeed you've got the necessary permit to be in the country. But what we need for our own sake is for you to comply with bylaws of the municipality, and the bylaws of the municipality is that you are trading at the appropriate place where you are allowed to trade, which is very important to us.
Yeah. So in terms, again, on criteria, who can own and run a Sphaza shop?
Whoever that is here legally, and whoever that has the capacity to
and this includes foreign nationals, right?
If they're here legally.
Yeah. So one of the points that Commissioner Mtombeni raised yesterday was that if you look at the country's legislation, refugee as well, especially with the refugee status, somebody gets a refugee status, the rights that they enjoy, because the country doesn't have, in terms of its foreign policy, camps for refugees. Do you think that that's perhaps maybe something that needs to be revisited?
Remember, if you are here for a specific purpose, for example, you are a refugee, there are many things that you can't do. And that's the reason why we believe that we need to intervene there. And if you are here with full citizenship, there are things that you can do, and there are things that you can't do. For example, you can't participate in some of the activities of voting or be representative in parliament.
All right, so you heard and saw for yourself what the members of the Operation Tudula, they were expected to picket at Soweto today against the registration of foreign-owned Sphaza shop. This follows President Ramaphosa's announcement that all Sphaza shops will be given 21 days in which to register their businesses with their respective municipalities. Ramaphosa's announcement comes amid growing concerns over food safety and the sale of expired, contaminated and counterfeit goods at Sphaza shops. This follows a spate of food poisoning incidents that have resulted in deaths of 22 children so far. So Operation Tudula's President Zandile Dabula says they will picket outside Aba Urban Ubuntu Council. Dabula says we are very disappointed because we thought that our president would be declaring a state of emergency when it comes to immigration. Then he decides to give the people who have broken the law already a chance to go and correct their wrong. So why are they not shutting them down? I mean, he was so quick to say that all informal traders that are trading at schools need to move and no longer trade there, but why is he not doing the same thing with these foreign-owned Sphaza shops in and around our townships, she adds. So, there we go. So, my peeps, I don't know what you think, but let's use our voices, use our finances, use our resources as much as possible, not to be buying from these shops, to boycott them, to stay away from them, to support South African businesses. In some areas you find maybe if re ka kopanya re ka bula Sphaza shop of our own or businesses of our own and make sure we sell products that are compliant and be compliant, and we can create more jobs. And of course it's not easy to compete against these guys because I mean they have resources, they pull together and they sleep in the shop and they bring workers from their war-torn countries, and therefore these people just stay in the shops, and it's very difficult to compete with them. Whereas with the South African, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I'm sure you've heard that before. So let's do what we can. Let's do what we can. All right, man, let me sign off and say cheers. Listen, actually, I forgot to mention this. Thank you very much for liking, for sharing, for commenting, for always making sure that you come back and watch the videos that I produce for you. It's Movember. That's why I'm growing a bit of a mustache, and simply because I am celebrating being a man, and of course making sure that we take care of our health and we make sure that we help our brother out We listen to our brother when our brother is depressed and going through very difficult times. And of course, as men, we have to make sure that we hold each other together and hold each other accountable. And Movember is for us men. Let's enjoy it. Let's do something productive about this month. Let's celebrate it. And let's do positive things to uplift each other as men. All right, peace out. Boom.
Number 2, how would decide, okay, ngile DJ, go be a guy. Sponsorship se go sa ga guy. Go aga tshwantse o tle go department ya planning, go land use, mo go tswa di building plans. Ba gone o thusa gore okay mo o qualify o ka aga di bukana ba room or ba Sphaza house over down. So you need to comply.